Hello, I'm Joan Capurro, and it's my pleasure to host this segment of the Marin Women's Hall of Fame show. It's hard to imagine Marin County without the work of countless women shaping the life, culture, mores, and landscape of Marin County. From a Frank Lloyd Wright designed civic center to high-quality public schools, artworks in San Rafael, vast areas of open space, innovative businesses, and a robust network of nonprofits, women have put their mark on Marin County. And Marin women's contributions go beyond our county. Honorees have been in space to the Arctic, created social changing documentaries, served in the U.S. Senate, and helped integrate holistic mind, body, medicine, and Western medical practices. Since 1987, the Hall of Fame has inducted over 125 Marin women of distinction. And today it is my pleasure to introduce Kim Kaselionis, who was inducted in 2013 for her work in finance, and she's a good friend. Welcome, Kim.
Hi, Joan. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Good.
So let's start with your family, because I know you have a very interesting background. You grew up in a big family. Tell everyone what that experience was like.
Well, it was really fun to share our similar family experiences before the show started.
Right.
So just to elaborate a little bit more, when my mother remarried and we moved up to Marin from Southern California, we came with 5 children and her husband came with 5 children. So it was, I don't know so much
Chaos.
the Brady Bunch, right, as it was Family Feud. But nonetheless, there were some very interesting life lessons learned being in a large family like that. And I'd like to share maybe a few of those with you.
Right.
The first is the importance of a division of duties, planning, and collaboration, without which, whether you're in a large family or in an organization, you'll have chaos, as we were talking about.
Right.
So it was really one of the things that I learned really early on was the value of having those 3 elements in any environment you may have find yourself in. And I brought actually something to share with you.
Great.
One of my first experiences with annual planning, and this is our annual childhood chores chart. So you can see all of the months, 12 months up here at the top, all of the duties along
Sweep
the
yard,
side.
mop and wet.
Right, without which the house would be in a
Yeah,
complete disarray, the dog would not be healthy, and well, we would starve because part of our responsibilities were actually to make breakfast, lunch, and to help with the dinner. So a lot of, very important life lessons come from, or we're shaped by how we grow up. So that was really important. And one of the other things was collaboration. And a lot of the times, I don't know if it's true in your home, but in our home, our parents wouldn't let us all leave until all of the jobs were done.
I recognize that.
Yeah, so you had to collaborate with your siblings to make sure everything got done before you were all free to be children. And something, it's very similar in our workplaces, that really collaboration is a very important element to having a healthy company that functions really well, and duties and responsibilities can get done on time. So that was certainly, one thing that I learned growing up in a large household. Another one that I learned was really the value of understanding what motivates people to act.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So, for example, we were talking about how we would try to get our siblings to do work for us. So
Yes.
I learned very early on that my 3 older stepbrothers were motivated by extra dessert at dinner table, right? And my other siblings might have been motivated by money, or perhaps swapping one weekend's chores for another. Well, the same is true in business, right? We really, it's important for us to understand what motivates people to act, because by doing that, we are better positioned to engage into relationships where all constituents can win. So, and the one final one I'll share with you is don't be late for a meeting. Because if that meeting is dinner, you may be hungry. And then again, in life, if you're late to a meeting, you don't know what messages you may miss. So, don't be late.
That is so interesting, because that, I think, is what made you so successful. You learned that when you were very young. So being from a large family like I am, I think that's why it helped us to deal with people.
Exactly.
And I've talked to people who work for you who said that you were very supportive, but they were expected to do their job. I thought, amen, that's the right thing.
Amen, that's how we get things done,
That's how
right?
you got things done. I love that chart. That's fabulous.
It's so funny.
The fact that your mom kept it all these years is amazing.
I don't know, she's so sentimental.
None of ours are here. Well, you work closely on a professional basis with your mom, Marin Women's Hall of Fame honoree Kit Cole. What are the rewards and pitfalls of working with the family? I know you and I have discussed this before, and you're the only 2 women that are related that have been in the Women's Hall of Fame, and that's pretty fabulous.
It's truly an honor, and
Yeah.
it is such a loaded question.
Right, I know.
Sharing the
Just share
rewards
what you
is
want.
really easy.
Okay.
There are 2 really main things that I'd like to share. One is that, my mother raised her children to have raised aspirations. That really, this was the land of opportunity, and you could do or be whatever you wanted to be as long as you were willing to put in the work. And she was a great role model and example of that.
Yes.
Closely related to that was perseverance. She did a lot of things in her life in a period of time where women were just, coming into their own and really fighting for equality. She was one of the first female stockbrokers in the state of California. She's done a number of very significant financial transactions, all while raising 10 children. So,
Amazing.
lot of roadblocks and obstacles she's had to overcome. So I figured if she could do that, I should be able to do that and more. And one of the other things that she taught me was, don't burn bridges. And I've talked about this at the Hall of Fame dinner, that life is prepared to give you a learning experience. And typically they come when you have not been kind or you've burned a bridge. And inevitably I have found that when I do that, unfortunately, 5, 7, 10 years down the road, I will come across that individual again and I will need their help. So really do your very best to try to be nice.
Good for you. I couldn't agree more. That's fat. And you do. And I remember from when you were very young, for starting out, banking and financial world, and I was very impressed with your drive. You weren't letting anything hold you back, so good for you.
Well, with that comes some
Your mom taught you that.
a couple of scars along the way. So
we all have those, no matter what. But I think something interesting is like in 1996, when you're named chairperson CEO of Circle, which was on the brink of being closed by the FDIC. How in the world did that appointment come about, and you brought things around? Just tell us about that.
Well, truth be told, it's part accident and part by design. So what do I mean? I think the accidental part was when I became a director of the institution in 1991, I had no idea. I had no expectation or any desire to be an employee, least of which the CEO of the company. But by design, because I had done a lot of things to invest in myself in terms of my education. I have a degree in accounting, so I understood financial statements. And in terms of my career path and my history, I was positioned, right, to be able to take advantage of that opportunity when it came about. And the organization had a mishap, had about 6 years of mishaps, 5 years of mishaps. And we'd been through a couple of directors, and because I took the opportunity to play a more active role in the overall management of the company, when the board finally got tired of trying to find new CEOs and they offered me the position, I accepted.
Fabulous.
And I was ready.
That's well, and it's about leadership.
There you have it.
It's always about leadership, and it's about your staff, right?
It is always about the staff. They're like your family.
Yes, they are. Circle Bank became an incredible success story under your leadership, and you achieved 56 consecutive quarters of profitability during a terrible banking environment. Can you share some of the ups and downs of that ride?
I would be happy to, and I have to correct you. It was only 53. Not 56. I'd love it to be 56.
I like the younger
I like
numbers.
56 too. 53 is good too. So
you could have taken credit for that.
Yeah, I could have, but it would have been a lie. It would have come back to haunt me.
Yeah.
So I think, Joan, really it's about consistency and about engaging the people who you work with and having some good overall risk management and leadership qualities. From the senior management team to the board of directors to the staff, we stuck to our core competencies, to our core geographies and our core products, and where a lot of our colleagues really went to chase profits and engaged in activities outside of perhaps their skill set.
Right.
You know, they enjoyed those profits then, but they gave all those profits back over the last 5 years. So I would say really consistency had a lot to do with how we were able to manage and navigate through a pretty difficult economic time.
Good for you. And again, I think it goes back to your raising. What you were taught to stick with things and
persevere no matter where.
Under your leadership, Circle Bank became known for its support of community nonprofits, of course, and two in particular come to mind: Homeward Bound, you were really active in that, and Women's Initiative for Self-Employment. So could you tell us about that?
Yeah, well, you're the queen of nonprofits, my dear, so take a lot of
you were the young
credit
queen.
for that. You did. So both very just extraordinary organizations, and they both deal with fragile members of our communities. Homeward Bound, really, their mission is to end homelessness through training, housing, and hope. So they provide vocational training skills to help people who are temporarily homeless really transition back into mainstream society. Women's Initiative does something a little bit similar in that their mission is to end generational poverty by training, funding, and supporting low-income female entrepreneurs to help them become financially independent and self-sufficient. And as we've discussed previously, you know, when you help women raise their worth, their self-worth, and help them to become independent, the whole family's health rises. So really, both organizations are very extraordinary, and it was really an honor to be involved with them.
And both very successful. I think Homeward Bound is a national model, if I'm not mistaken. And that's Mary Kay Sweeney, right, Executive Director. And Women's Initiative, I've been to several of their events, and they're just exactly what you say they are. And it's amazing to me, the stories of some of those women.
They're extraordinary.
Where
Just
they
extraordinary.
come from and how far they go.
Yeah, and you know, it takes a lot, as you well know, it takes a lot of effort and a lot of will and perseverance to be successful and to have courage to be a female entrepreneur. And these women bring all of that, and they just need a little bit of help.
That's right.
Women's Initiative is out for. Funny thing about Homeward Bound, you know, we created the micro enterprise program with them and their cookie dough. So that's one of the things I miss the most, is the smell of homemade cookies every day at the branches. So
that's fabulous.
Yeah, fabulous organizations.
Yeah, good for you for doing that. I know you were very involved in that, because I remember going out to a couple of events there, and that Circle Bank and yourself were right up front with everything. So good for you.
Yeah.
I love both those. They're two of my favorites.
Yeah, and if you ever want cooking lessons, Homeward Bound offers cooking lessons, and we took the staff a couple of years during the holidays to do holiday cookie baking. So anytime you're looking for something, a little activity fun to do that has to do with food, call Homeward Bound.
If it has to do with food, I know that one, and certainly don't need it. Thank you. And I'm a pretty good cook, actually. Both you and Circle Bank have received a lot of awards forever that I can remember with you. Is there one that stands out that's significant for either you or Circle Bank?
Well, they're all really just a gift.
Special to you.
Special. Well, that's certainly the Marin Women's Hall of Fame is an important one. Another one, I know you said one, but I'm going to spell it well.
No, whatever.
The San Francisco Business Times Most Admired CEO for Small Business was really extraordinary. But I think the one that gives me the greatest pleasure, besides being next to my mom, which is huge in the Marin Women's Hall of Fame, is the awards that we received for being one of the best employers in the North Bay 5 years running. And I think it's really a testament to leadership, style, and skill as viewed by your staff. So really, that warms my heart. So I'm proud of them all, but those are in particular. I
totally understand that, because I would agree with you. If the employees love their leadership, that is like number one, because that's success. Success isn't necessarily always customers. It is really the employees, because they bring the customers in.
Right.
So good for you. And I 100% agree with that. Circle Bank was sold to Umpqua in 2012, and you opted not to stay with the bank. So what have you been up to since then, and what are you doing, and what are your plans?
Yeah, well, you know, I'm pleased to report that the sale to Umpqua was a very good decision for the shareholders. And, you know, the staff all transitioned great, which is, again, I think a real testimony to the culture that we built at Circle Bank, because one of the things that we strived and we stressed to the staff was take advantage of the training that's available to you. Invest in yourself, because it will help position you, like it did me when I accepted the role in the beginning, 1996, for future growth, no matter where you go. So what have I been up to since? Well, part of it's a surprise, but I can tell you that coming soon is a very extraordinary and transformative organization that brings together and leverages the need for credit and capital to small businesses and changes in our regulatory environment. So I'm really looking forward to continuing to serve small to medium-sized businesses, our jobs engine in the country, by helping them get greater access to capital. Coming soon.
Great. That is great. Coming soon. You're working on that now. Can we talk just a little bit about your family, your children?
Oh, sure.
You want to tell everybody where they are, what they're doing?
Sure. I have 3 children. Ages 19, soon to be 21 and 23. They are all in college. One of the things that another gift that my mother gave to me or bestowed upon me was, here's a typewriter, honey, go to college. So I said the similar thing to my children. We're not having a conversation until you've completed college. So all 3 are in college. The oldest is studying civil engineering at University of Nevada, Reno. The son, who's going to be 21 very soon, is in the Air Force ROTC program at Northern Arizona and doing pre-law. And my daughter is at Western Washington in Bellingham, up in God's country. And, she is a marketing and communications major.
Oh my goodness!
So,
that gives you
I couldn't
time
be
to do
prouder.
what you're doing, doesn't it?
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, a lot of the lessons that my mother taught me that I used in my career, I have transferred over to my children. And, you know, one of the lessons going back to the family was that, you know, life isn't really fair. And it doesn't really matter what you're dealt with. It's what you do with what you're dealt with that really matters. So just get dressed in the morning, get out there, and just get it done.
Work.
Yeah, get it done.
Good for you. I was wondering about your holiday times with the families. How large does that become now?
My favorite times of the year is when the children all come home and we're all together. And it depends, because now with my husband's family, we could get, you know, anywhere from 15 to 25 people. So
Oh my gosh.
I don't see a lot of my siblings anymore, but just with my family, with my siblings and their children, right? And my husband and his sister lives here in town with her 2 children. So
that's wonderful.
it's really fun. I love holidays.
Yeah. Thanksgiving or
Thanksgiving and Christmas.
all of it? Okay.
So
Because they're home from school, right?
they come home for school, right? And we have a new family tradition in the Kaselionis Petrini house where we all run the turkey trot in the morning on Thanksgiving, because the rest of the day is going to be, you know, couch potato, football, and food. So
you all run.
yeah, and yeah, I think you need that kind of
I
cleansing just
Good
to
for
deal
you.
with all of the family
Well, you
personalities.
can't do it after dinner.
Oh God, no.
I mean,
And who would want to, right?
And that is really way too hard. Some questions about well, one is, you know, when they called you to tell you that you were being inducted into the Women's Hall of Fame, what was your reaction? And are you the one that called your mom and told her, or did she already know? Or
I was flabbergasted. I was
Really?
shocked and really overwhelmed. It was really amazing, and it was really heartwarming to be recognized in a league of just really extraordinary women. And I don't remember if she already knew or not, but I think, you know, I think we all want our parents to be proud of us,
Right.
even as an adult.
That's right.
And so
Oh,
I was,
Jesus.
it warmed my heart to have those achievements such that it was recognized and in an echelon where she was. So
right. Well, but
I think
you
we were
know,
both proud.
like what we've talked about so far, it shouldn't have been a surprise because you do so much in the community, and you've had that training anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So, but everyone I've spoken with has said the same thing, that they were. I was surprised too. So I know it's a surprise. I think Jan told me that she cried. And I thought, oh my goodness, you know. I mean, it's just interesting what you feel when you find out you're going to do something. But for you, to me, it would have been even more interesting because of your mom being in there. And I hope you're not the first 2 to ever have mother-daughter in it, because the apple doesn't usually fall far from
True.
the tree, right?
Fair enough, fair enough. And I think, Joan, like you and like a lot of the other women out there, and even those women that we don't recognize, kind of
Right,
the behind-the-scenes champions,
Yes.
we're motivated by doing good in our communities
Mm-hmm.
and by helping others and by opening doors for other people. We don't do it for the recognition, even though it's
No.
fun to celebrate. And I think it's really important what the Marin Women's Hall of Fame is doing now with the YWCA is really showcasing and highlighting examples so that our future generations have some role models that they can look to and say, just like I did with my mother. You know, she was a stockbroker in the 80s. If she could do it under those circumstances, I should be able to do that and more in
Yes.
today's environment.
Your stamina is very strong. And, you know, going along those lines, have you got some advice to give to women in the community, along with what you've already said, thinking back about your years coming up through the ranks, if you will, that you would say to them that if you do this, you are going to make it? Can you give some parting shots?
Yeah,
to
with
them?
the words of
Oh,
wisdom.
yes, exactly.
I think women in general, we tend to discount our abilities and our worth.
Yes.
And so I would recommend that whenever you get ready to walk into a room, whether it's a boardroom, a meeting room, a dinner, take a deep breath and just remind yourself that you're worth it, that you have skills, so that when you walk in there, you exude confidence and commitment and courage, because you never know how your behavior might affect the person next to you.
That's exactly right, because people are watching you. You know, women who are doing well and have done well, we have to walk around and be examples. I love to mentor, and I know you do too. And the mentoring that I've done with some young women, I told them, this is the truth. I have never gone into a meeting in my life that I didn't say, God, please help me not to make a fool of myself.
Right.
Or just please help me to say the right words or not to do the wrong thing. And so whatever it is, I think we have to give people something to hang on to. You can't read a book. You have to follow other people.
Right, you can look at them as an example. And I think especially for
Yeah.
women too, particularly if you're in an industry, like a lot of them, that are male dominated, that you walk into a room of your peers of the opposite gender and see yourself as their equal.
Right.
See yourself equally as capable.
Totally agree. You have to do that. So if you don't, then you become not so much. And I was at Big Brothers Big Sisters this morning, and Jennifer Newsom spoke. And I'm telling you, she's going to help make a change, I think, for the better for men and women. So whatever club she ends up starting around here, I think you definitely should join it.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Because you have a lot of wisdom to impart. And I'm trying to think, the first time I met you, you were probably in your late 20s. When did you start in banking?
I became the CEO when I was 35.
Yeah, that's
I was still
fabulous.
young.
You
I was still
very young, yeah. You looked, I think, 23. That's why I said
thank
that
you.
to you.
Thank you.
But I thought to myself, I was just absolutely amazed and happy to see, because you do have a lot of confidence. And that's because your mom gave you that training.
Right.
And when I've talked to people who did work for you that said, you know, as long as you did your job the best you could do it, that you would help them. Can you talk a little bit more just about that one last thing? In other words, can you think of a time with somebody that needed help? How did you train them? Did you send them for training? Did you just give them a good talking to?
Maybe a little both.
That's what I thought.
Right. So as we were talking about earlier, you know, one of the aspects of the culture that I really strive to achieve at Circle Bank was that of improving your skill set through training. And a lot of the times what we find that people aren't performing at their peak is because they don't have the skill set they need to perform the duties and responsibilities that the job position requires. So get them the training. Right? Ask them the training. Sometimes you have to twist their arm a little bit, but I think that once they are able to see the results of the effort that they have made and the time and commitment they have made to the training, that they'll start to really begin to ask for it. So invest in yourself as a...
Yes. You got that from your mom. I love this. It's been great talking to you. So thank you for sharing your life with everybody that's going to watch this, probably about 1 million people. Thank you, viewers, for tuning in. The Marin Women's Hall of Fame is a project of the YWCA of San Francisco and Marin. If you would like to learn more about the Hall of Fame and other honorees, please visit www.ywcasf-marin.org. And thank you so much.
Thank you, my dear.
Thank you for
Happy
bringing
holidays to
that
you.
wonderful
My jobs chart. My
jobs chart.
chart. Thank you so much.
Thank you.